It's a big day today because we are starting the trial. Well, that's tomorrow, but we are starting the preparations. So we're going to seine our pondulin. So the fingerlings have been there for some time now, nice and big. We're going to sample them, so we're going to weigh them to get the average weight, and then we need to put 100 of them into all the happers in the two different ponds. So yeah, it's a big day. Got here fairly early, left as it was dark, and we're just getting ourselves sorted. I think we're waiting for a net. The net that we use belongs to the district, and I think over the Christmas period a lot of farmers wanted to borrow it, so Pauson's on the way with it, and we're just here waiting for him to turn up with a net. But yeah, it's nice to be here. I'll spend the night and then see how we get on, sort of optimise the system. So tomorrow is the day that we're actually starting the whole, actually feeding them, but today is prep work and we'll find out if there's any issues. So a bit nerve-wracking, but I think we should be fine. These are the two ponds that we've got with the happers in them installed. You can see our first problem here. There's no fish in there, so it's not a problem of course right now, but if this were to happen during the trial, we would really struggle because of course the fish would have escaped. So just to make sure that they're firmly in. I think they said that this is the bottom of this pond is quite hard, so it's hard to get the stakes in, so but we're just going to fix that whilst we wait. This is our backup. I've just got sorry, just walked into this wire. Because of course we've raised the banks because we made the height of this pond slower. Now we've got these wires going across, so we have to watch out. This is the backup, and you can see it's just, like I say, it's the end of the rainy season. We keep expecting it to finish any day, but this is full, and this was helping us just to fill up this pond. But you can see here there's a bit of cracking just because of the pressure that comes in from the water, and then of course obviously as it dries as well. So then we've got grass on the middle parts. We just don't have grass around here, but we're working on that. It's the 2nd of January now. Everyone's we had that weird moment where between Christmas and New Year nobody knows what day it is, no one's doing much, and we left a few things I think have been unfinished, so need to just make sure that all those bits and bobs get done so that we're ready for, well, we'll just put our best foot forward, right? So yeah, I'm just sorting that out. Ian became a dad over the break as well, so I'm sure he was quite rightly focused on that for a bit. This is our solution to the issue. Ladder. A big wooden hammer just to whack them over the top, because the rest of them we can actually push in a bit because the mud is fairly soft underfoot, but this bit it's like almost walking on a floor, and of course we can't have them escaping, so we just need to make sure they're firm. But then when we sample the fish every 21 days we need to remove the peppers, so this is our solution for now. The harvest has begun. We're going to sample the first 50. We're trying to do that twice, 2 lots of 50, just so we know the average weight, and then we'll just measure out 100 fish into each happer, but that from the 250s that we do, we'll get the average. So the first lot is the first seine. We've reduced the water a bit. This first seine is literally just to help us to get the average weight. So let's go and have a look, see what we catch. They have grown a lot, just from visual. That's good. That's good. The bigger the fish, the better, to be honest, because then they can. We need them to be able to eat the maggots, remember, so that's why we're aiming for 50 grams. I don't think we'll get 50 grams as an average, but we can get. They could take them 3 weeks ago. That's when Rich was here. We did a trial with the maggots, and they could eat them then. So 3 weeks on, they only get bigger. And the thing about maggots, you have to remember when they're eating them, they're sort of small and then long, and they're also squishy, so a fish can sort of, suck them down like some spaghetti. So I think it shouldn't be a problem, the size, but that was one of our initial concerns, and it's why we've actually got these fingerlings from a supplier and not bred our own. And I'm desperate to get our fish breeding in here so that we can start providing fingerlings to the district, because I do think these are good fingerlings. So we need about 50, and they're looking really good. Keen to get them on the scales and see how we're doing. Okay, Bass. Bass. Bass.
It's enough.
So just sampled our first slot. So that was, how many did we get, Pauson?
No, that is 16 now.
16, and the average was, we had...
Of course, I've not looked at the average, but between 40 and 70.
Oh, that's perfect. They've grown very well.
Between 40 and 78.
40 and 78.
And that's why I wanted us to could grade them. Only use the big ones.
So yeah, we're pleased with that. That's a really good weight gain. So very pleased with that, because basically means that we know the trial's is more likely to succeed the bigger the fish, because they can definitely take the BSF. We'll see the weight gains a bit more clearly. So yeah, pleased. Just need to make sure we've got it's funny when you do these things, you have to plan for all eventualities, and one of the things I'm planning for, I don't think we'll have to do, but it's basically, what if we don't have enough 2,400 fish in here? We did stock around 3,500. Of course, this pond can't take that, but because they're small, they can cope with that for a short time. So we should have excess, but you never know. But we've got backup plans for what we would do if we don't have all the fingerlings we need. So here we go. Got 48 fish in here. Let them come out. Actually, there's 52 in here. Welcome to your new home for the next 3 months. So we need to do that a few hundred more times. Not quite hundreds, but we will persevere. So there's Ian running towards me. He should have... Sorry, I almost fell over. Thankfully this phone's waterproof. I think everyone freaks out because they don't know it is. But we should have another 48, and then that happer will be done. So we've done about a quarter of the happers now. There's a bit of concern that we don't get as many fish as we need, but I'm still hopeful. I think we haven't done a very good job of seining. We could reduce the water quite a bit more, so we should be fine. And if the worst comes to the worst, then we just eliminate one of the feeds. We're doing 4 feeds: no feed, commercial only, and then a mixture of BSF and commercial. So these two, BSF and commercial, we could maybe reduce that down to 1 if we really needed to, but I think we should be fine. We are currently in problem solving mode, because the fear that I said I had, which was we wouldn't have enough fish, has come unfortunately true. We've just done a last seine, and we got like 50 fish, and basically we're probably we're about 800 fish we've got, and we needed 2,400. Just a big problem. You can see we're letting the water come out. There's still some fish in there. So I think currently we needed like 1,200 for each pond. I think we're going to have to just do 1 pond, so it means we'll only have a fertilised or an unfertilised pond. I think we'll probably do unfertilised. And then if we can get up to 1,200, then we can carry on as normal, but we just do 1 treatment. So it's a real... I'm still reeling, to be honest. It's a real kick in the teeth, because I don't know what's happened. I don't know where they've all gone. But I'm more concerned about just trying to come up with a solution to what we do now, so we can keep this trial running. I think I don't think it matters too much if we have 1 pond or 2 ponds. It would have been great to have 2. But I think we can make it work with 1. There's still good evidence, and maybe we just do 3 treatments, and that's instead of the 4. We can definitely do 3 treatments. We've got enough fish for that. But it's tough. But these things happen. You can't plan for everything, and we're not sure why the fish aren't all there, but there's a number of reasons it could have been. So one of the things is sometimes when you stock, you don't get the fish that you think you do because the hatchery aren't scrupulously honest. Could be predation, although we've done everything we can to reduce that. Could be they've escaped somehow. Anyway, I don't really know. It's not too important. It's more just the issue we've got is we need to make sure we can get this trial running. So we've got some data to go on for the project. Right, let me go and talk to my partner about this. We've finished this pond and we've got 1,200 fish. Exactly, in fact. So that's exactly what we need for the trial. There will be some mortality, so we could do a few more, and then we can do the trial, but in just 1 pond, not 2. But we think we found the issue, basically the outlet over there. I don't think last night when they reduced the water a bit last night. I think that wasn't done quite correctly, and so they're just finding loads down here. But of course, most of they would have all escaped. Thankfully, tilapia are indigenous, so no problem with biosecurity. But yeah, that's probably what's been the result. So they've just come out through here and gone off into the bush. You can see. Can you see the? Yeah, see this pipe is a bit broken, so I think that's the issue. And this is the harvesting basin that we'd made, so it's round, made of cement. And then when we're collecting fry, it becomes much easier to collect the fry. Look at all these flies everywhere. We're very active now. We had a bit of a lull. The flies that we'd bought, the pupa we'd bought, I should say, had all hatched, and our pupa weren't quite ready. You can see this is we spent a long time doing this, which is just these are pre-pupa when they're wriggling. And then eventually they go like this. See, they're not moving at all. These are the pupa. And after 7 days, the pupa, these ones, will hatch into these flies. And it's nice and hot in here. Can you see it's 38.5, 30% humidity. And eventually the flies will come. Might spend a bit of time on the plants. Some plants lying around. Start to see some of the ones that are flying, they're chasing each other. Males are chasing the females, there's a pair. And then they come over here and they lay their eggs in these strips of cardboard. And you see we've got recorded the weight. So then you record the weight with the eggs in it. And then you know how many grams of eggs you have. Once you know the grams of eggs, you can know how many maggots you're going to get. And then inside those buckets is like trapped in, so it's just a bit of chicken dung, a bit of vegetable waste, things that they smell good, and then they'll try and lay the eggs near food, effectively. Can't see anyone here. So yeah, we had a bit of a lull, but we're back up to getting lots of flies in here, and then you can see how many pupa we've got, with loads, buckets and buckets of it. Just count 6 buckets, so we'll get a lot, which is great. So yeah, it's going well, and I'll come and show you let me get out of here and then I'll show you how the maggots, this is where the maggots are coming from. So this is basically, this bay A is basically done. It's actually really, sorry, ignore that, we just put the casings in there, it's actually really nice stuff. It's like, this is really good for your garden, really, really, really good. It's like as good as adding inorganic fertiliser, that level of good. Still a few flies and pupa coming out. I don't know if I can see any flies actually. Yeah, there's one. You can see it. But then you're never going to get all of them out, some of the late bloomers. And then what we'll do is we'll shift this outside and then we'll sell this as well as sort of fertiliser. Sorry, Siobhan, let's get out of your way. These are some that I've just hatched. So this is what we do, we get the eggs, stick them in here on top so they don't get wet, and then there's so much heat coming off here, and then it's just maggots. Oh my gosh, that's almost painfully hot. There's a lot of maggots, and then once the maggots are like that, we put them in one of these bays. This is all the stuff that they've started to decompose already, but you can see there's a tomato there and a bit of cabbage leaf. They've all turned that. We've added a bit of sawdust, a bit of rice husk just so it doesn't get too wet. Let's see if I can get the maggots out. Can I see any? Yes, there we go. Some over here. They do tend to, they're probably in one specific section because that's where they tend to hang out together. But this is a bit older, this stuff. This is the fresher stuff. And then this is where we start the sieving. So this isn't prototype. We're gonna level it out, but basically you put all your waste on it, and then the larvae are photophobic, which means they don't like light, they're scared of light. They burrow down, and then they'll go through this mesh. And actually, we're not going to use that mesh. We're going to use this even finer stuff, like this. They can fit through that because they're squidgy. Remember, fit through there, harvest them, feed them to your fish. There's really good protein. And this is our meal, which we chop up the stuff because we get so much of it. It's going well.